Nope.
How about now?
Nope.
How about oh? Bow, bow, bow,
It's Mike. This is the very supreme broadcast of honor podcast. Drivecast, bitch. I'm riding down the road. I'm recording this shit. Listen to me now. I've got a show. I make it up as I go along, cause you know it is the best place to be to get your games, reality, and news. And my views, everything I'm saying right now is made up, just like the show. If you don't like it, shut up and just go. There's lots of people that like when I talk about things and stuff and such. That's the way I get shit done in this life. You should try it once. Maybe you'll get a whole pile of friends. Welcome to the very supreme broadcast of honor podcast, the Drivecast. My name is Mike, and I'm here to talk to you today about perseverance. Something that I believe in and I've put to the test. I want to talk to you about that. First, thank you for joining me on the podcast. If it's your first time listening, this is a podcast where I'm either driving to work or driving home from work. I currently work 1.5 hours away from my home. It's unfortunate, but the job market being the way it is, it's the only place I can find work near my home. I'm rectifying that as soon as possible. I cannot stand driving for 3 hours a day for work anymore. I can't do it. The job isn't bad, but I can't drive that distance to work anymore. I feel tired. I feel beat up physically from the drive. I have some back issues that are acting up, and they get agitated from driving all that way every day. So, yeah, I've applied and even interviewed for some work from home positions. One of them is looking very promising right now. It's not a job that I would normally have taken, but the fact that it's working from home and the hours are pretty flexible, I think. I'll find out more tomorrow, actually, after this recording. Anyway, regardless, I'm rambling. I'm hopefully working from home soon, and with the schedule that I believe will be in place if I get that job, I'll actually be able to do live streaming during the mornings every day. What? Yeah, that's right, every day, sucker. And still the Friday Night Late stream and some streaming on the weekends and stuff too. So that'll really kick things off for TVSBOH. So I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully I get this job. Fingers crossed. By the time you hear this, you'll probably already know if I got it. Anyway, today we're talking about perseverance and what I believe it means, and I hope that I'm right because I just thought of this before I started recording that word, but what I believe it means is the ability to keep going in the face of adversity, to be able to overcome roadblocks that are put in the way of your dreams and goals. So, and I mean, that's just what I believe it means. I hope I'm right, because that's what this whole podcast is going to be about. There's a lot of different ways that we can fail on our path to our goals. There's a lot of ways we can fail. Of course, when I talk during these podcasts, it's mostly about games or gaming or Twitch, live streaming in general, or YouTube, being in that business, because that's my life. So that's what I can give you examples of. But in relationships, in your job, in school, in whatever, in something you want to do, there's so many different ways that we can fail. Some of them are expected, like it's an expected obstacle thrown in front of you. Others are unexpected. Some of them, and they vary in different degrees. I think I've talked about that before in previous podcasts, but perseverance is the ability to overcome those obstacles. No matter how they come up, no matter how severe they are, perseverance is the overcoming of those. So, I'll give you an example. When I first started to do the YouTube scene with Higgins back in the day, there was a lot there for us to overcome. So our idea, I approached Higgins and I said, hey, we have good chemistry, we're friends, you enjoy playing video games, together we have this really funny comedic chemistry. Why don't we do a podcast? That was the very first idea. Why don't we do a podcast together? Because at the time, and even now, I still listen to podcasts. So sometimes on this podcast, I like to talk about driving, and I like to talk about how bad people fucking drive. I hate when people don't use blinkers. They just start slowing down without putting their foot on the brake. All of a sudden, you're just like riding this guy's ass. You're like, what? Why are you not driving anymore? And all of a sudden, right at the turn, they put their blinker on and turn. It's like, fuck are you, man? I'm going to punch you in your mouth. So anyway, back to the matter at hand. So we did. Higgins and I recorded a podcast. You've never heard it because we never released it because, to be honest, it was awful. It wasn't terrible in terms of our chemistry. It was terrible. We broke some podcast rules. We did some inside joke stuff which no one would understand. We rambled on. We didn't have any sort of a format. I mean, I kind of ramble on in this podcast, but at least I have a format, which is, here's a topic. I'm going to talk about it for a set amount of time. We just talked and talked and talked, and it was funny. I go back and listen to it. I still have a recording of it somewhere. We probably won't ever release it because we said some stuff that was maybe offensive. I don't know. It wasn't a very good podcast. It wasn't worthy of releasing. So, we had that at first, and then, so there was a lot of, we didn't give up. Like, we listened to it. It's like, I don't know if we're going to release that or how to release it or what we're going to do from here. But we didn't give up. We said, okay, let's move on to something else as well. Let's do this YouTube channel thing with gaming, because I already had, as I've explained before, I already had a YouTube channel for gaming, and I abandoned it, but I thought that him and I could start a YouTube channel, sort of be a YouTube duo. So he said, yeah, let's try that too. So I recorded a video. I didn't know really how to make a professional one. So there was an obstacle, but I just said, you know what, I'm going to do the best I can, and I'm going to upload a video. So my first video uploaded to that channel, because I had some experience from my other channel, gaming channel, but I uploaded it, did the best I could, overcame the obstacle of not really knowing how to make it like a really quality video. I had a webcam, but I didn't know how to set it up for face cam, so I didn't do that. The first video that we ever did on TVSBOH was I played Final Fantasy 1 through a website. I don't think it was lined up very well on the screen, and my voice wasn't the best. Microphone wasn't set up properly. There's all these problems, but we did it anyway. I did it, uploaded it, figured out what thumbnails should look like, even though they were crappy. So we did that, and then we got some negative feedback, constructive feedback, so that's fine, from people about it. We didn't give up. When somebody said, hey, your videos suck, you're tempted. You're so tempted to go, well, fuck it. I'm not going to do it then. I did the best I could, and people took a giant shit on it and said that it sucked. So your first reaction is to go, well, this thing that I did that I'm proud of, that I put all my hard work into, I spent a lot of time, because I don't know what I'm doing, I spent a lot of time learning this video editing software, and I spent a lot of time learning, maybe Photoshop, or I'm speaking again of specific examples of what I did. But I already knew how to use Photoshop. I learned it in school. But, I mean, there's things that we had to overcome on our channel. So you just do the best you can. When people say it's shit and they knock you down and it sucks, and then other people come along and kick you when you're down, it's so tempting just to go, well, fuck it, I'm going to give up on this, even though I really enjoyed it, and, it's what I want to do, but other people didn't like what I did, and they made fun of me, or they were rude to me about it, or I really messed up. I think I talked on another podcast about mistakes and that sort of thing. You move on. You pick up the pieces, you learn what you did wrong, and you persevere. You use that attribute of perseverance. Because if you don't have perseverance, especially if you're doing YouTube or Twitch or any sort of live streaming, any sort of entertaining, whether you're doing music, anything like that, those are all my experiences, so I can talk to them about them. But regardless of what you're doing, maybe you're a dancer or an artist, or you make furniture, or you write poetry, or you're an actor, or, I'm just thinking of creative things that come to the top of my head. You make jewelry, maybe you're really good at math, maybe, whatever it is that you're good at, you enjoy doing, and you do it, you may get some haters, some trolls, you may attract the wrong kind of attention, you know what I mean? Or maybe you do suck, maybe you do fail one time, maybe you did your best, but it wasn't good enough. You come in second place, you come in last place, whatever. If it's a race, you're doing sports. Whatever it is that you're trying to achieve and you fail at it, or maybe you did well, but other people make it sort of a failure by trolling you or saying negative things to you. Or maybe people just give you some constructive criticism, but you take it the wrong way, There's a lot of things that can get in your way in life. Can make you feel like shit, especially when it's something you're passionate about or something that you want to do. Maybe your partner, your parents, your friends, your family, whatever. Maybe their values don't line up with yours. Maybe their expectations of what you're going to do with your life or things you're going to spend your time on don't line up with what you like. All of these things are possible. And you have a choice to make. And I think I talked about that on other podcasts. But you can either look at your end result, look at the end goal that you want, and say, you know what? Regardless of what happened, I'm still going to do this because I enjoy it. I don't care what other people say, or I don't care what place I came in, or I don't care what the end result of what I did was. I was happy with it, or even if you weren't happy with it, I still enjoy this, I'm going to do it. Or I don't care about these things because I'm going to get to that end goal no matter what. So there's a couple different stances you can take there. But perseverance just means dusting yourself off and moving on. That's it, Looking at what you did, analyzing it, whether you agree or enjoy the outcome of what happened before or on your way to your goal, it's just going, well, it doesn't matter. The next step is continuing toward my goal. If your goal is to just do something on a permanent basis, like I'm going to go out for a 2-mile jog every day, if that's your goal, then it's the next day going, well, it may be raining right now, but I'm going out for my jog. Or it doesn't matter that I'd rather just sit here and play video games. I'm going out for that jog. Or, I'm not going to make excuses. I'm going out for that jog. Or, okay, well, maybe I can't do that jogging right now, but I'm going to do it later tonight because I'm going to do that jogging. I'm not speaking from experience because I certainly don't jog. I certainly don't run. It's not something that I'm built to do or that I'm willing to do. Oh, cool. Someone's walking a Great Dane down the road over here. That's awesome. I owned a Great Dane. I've owned 2 Great Danes in my lifetime. Briefly. One of them passed away very quickly from puppy parvo, I believe it was called. It's a disease that's spread in kennels. And then the second one I had died of a rare disease when he was only like, I don't know, 2 maybe. Just a really rare disease that comes from Mexico or some weird shit. No one knows how my dog got it, but that was sad. Anyway, Great Danes are fucking awesome dogs. I'm a cat person mostly. I have 3 cats, but I did have dogs before, and Great Danes are cool. Anyway, that's a little bit of, ooh, shiny for you. Ooh, shiny. Back to what I was saying. Perseverance, it's something that if you develop that in life, it helps you so much to achieve your goals. I've done a lot of things I've set out to do, and sometimes after I do them, there is that moment where I'm like, I don't know. I want to change my end goal, or you know what? I didn't really enjoy that. I'm never doing that again. Or maybe I'll do it once or twice more to reevaluate whether I like it or not. So there's some options there. You know, you get a roadblock put up, or you get knocked down, or you don't meet your goal when you thought you were going to, or whatever. Perseverance is all about just reevaluating how you're going to get to your goal. Maybe you have to take a whole different path. It's really weird for me because nothing really against high school guidance counselors because I'm generalizing, but I really liked my high school guidance counselor. Mr. M, if you're listening, thanks a lot, man. I liked him. He's a cool guy. He did the best he could, I guess. Could you imagine being a high school guidance counselor where you have to try to help kids figure out what they're going to do with their life before they're even really an adult and they've had any life experience? Fuck that, man. Parents can't do it, kids can't do it themselves, but guidance counselors are expected to somehow. I guess it's more about guidance than telling you what you're going to do with your life, but at the same time, so up until like a year ago, I really didn't know what I was going to do with my life. I have a better idea now, more of a better idea now than I ever have in my entire life. It's a little scary, to be honest. I could talk about that another time. But I really didn't know, especially at the end of high school, the way that it works in Canada now, kids get out of high school a year earlier than they used to. There used to be grade 13. When I went through, it was called OAC. Had to do with the province I live in, I think, is that name. But anyway, kids get out even a year earlier now, so it's fucked. I don't remember how old I was, maybe 19. And my guidance counselor tried to help me. Some of my close friends tried to help me, like figure out what I was going to do. You know, a lot of them, not a lot of them, but some of them had a clear idea. They're like, well, I'm really good at math. I'm really good at this. I'm going to go into computers, and I really like computers, so I'll go into computers, which I should have done in hindsight, maybe. Maybe not, because it all leads to where you are now, and I really like where I am now, knowing what I want to do. It's a glorious feeling, finally, at 33 years old. But at 19, it was like, well, I enjoy acting. I enjoy music. I'm good with people and listening and, you know, helping people. Good at voices, comedy. Those were basically the things I was presenting to the guidance counselor. He was looking at my grades like, you're not great at high school, are you? I'm like, well, I just don't give a shit. I'm not interested in a lot of this stuff. I hate math. I like English. I like to write. I'm also good at writing. I enjoy that. He's like, what do you want to do? And I'm like, at the time, I'm like, well, I'd love to help people somehow. I don't know. I want to be a psychiatrist. I want to help people. I want to counsel people. When people have problems, I want to help them with them. That's what I wanted to do when I was 19. I'm like, that's what I want to do, Mr. Guidance Counselor. Mr. M, I want to be a psychiatrist. There you go. I want to help people. That's what I want to do. I want to really help them out with their problems. And he's like, well, I have bad news for you. You are shitty at math. In fact, really shitty at math. And you need to be able to become a doctor, like a medical doctor, and then you have to specialize in psychiatry, which is the medicine of the mind. But you have to become a medical doctor first, and in order to do that, you better be good at math and formulas and memorization of those types of things, which I am not good at. I'm not good at math. I'm not good at memorizing formulas. And I also really enjoyed physics. I enjoyed science. So I said, well, what about like being a physicist or like a scientist, like working in a lab? I kind of like that. I like, experimenting. I like that sort of thing. Experimenting is like, well, again, you need to be good at math. You need to be good at memorizing formulas. I'm sorry, you can't be a scientist. And I'm like, well, fuck, shit ass. Fuck. I don't know then. And he's like, well, you said you like voices, like good at, you like to do voices or, comedy and acting, radio voice type thing. You like to pretend you have a radio voice and things like that. You're very comical when you do acting and all this stuff. He's like, he was also the drama, involved with the drama stuff at the school. Same with his wife, was a drama teacher at the school. But he's like, you're good at acting, you're good at English with the writing and the comedy and the music. All those things might equal maybe getting into advertising and marketing. I'm like, I don't know. So what happened was the guidance counselor had me enroll in advertising and marketing, which is sort of the same course. Advertising is a form of marketing. So I applied to a 2-year advertising course, and also sound engineering, which would be working in a recording studio, which I would really enjoy, being a musician and enjoying that process, because I'd actually learned a bit about recording music while I was in high school, because I was in a band and we recorded some albums, and the person that recorded for us was actually someone our age, but he was a wizard. He still is. He knows a lot about that stuff, and he taught me a lot about it. So I learned about sound engineering a bit, and I wanted to do it professionally maybe. I thought that'd be cool. I got on a waiting list. Never got in because the waiting list was so long. There's this place in Canada that's, I believe it's Fanshawe College, but there's also Stony Creek. There's a few different schools. I don't live in those cities, but they're great schools for sound engineering and learning to work in a recording studio. Anyway, I didn't get in because it was a backlist, a waiting list of schools. So then I got into the advertising. So I went there, took the advertising for a couple of years. Why was I talking about this? Fuck, brain, really? Come on. That is awful. If you listen to the Drivecast, you know this happens sometimes. I forget why I brought something up. What does that have to do with perseverance? Fuck me. Yeah! Woo! I forget what my original point was. But... Oh, I guess because it's what you want to do with your life and persevering. So I guess I could branch off on that and say I took advertising and marketing and sort of got a really broad education. So I learned about Photoshop. So I learned about graphic design. I learned about taking pictures, so digital and analog photography. I learned about sales. I learned about entrepreneurship, which is running your own business. I learned about advertising. I learned about public relations. I learned about sales. I learned about management. I learned about a ton of things, which I'm using every single bit of that with TVSBOH. I'm using all of that education in there, which is just amazing to finally, after after like 13, 12 years, about 10 years after graduating from my first college program, finally being able to use those skills in a really productive way is amazing. But after I graduated with that education, there were no jobs in the city I was living in. And so, I was really bummed out because I had to go back to working a bunch of jobs that I worked before I went to school. And I vowed, I'm like, once I go to school for this advertising thing, I'll never have to work another retail job, another call center job, all of these different jobs I had while I was going to college, or the year before, year between high school and college, I worked. I'm never going to have to go back to those types of jobs, but I did because there's no other jobs. So my goal was to work in marketing and advertising, but there are no jobs. So I had to persevere. I had to just go, well, fuck, whatever, and then just work all these shittier jobs that I didn't enjoy too much in order to get to my end goal of working in marketing or, some sort of an advertising position. I had to work these crappier jobs. So I did that for like several years. Nothing came about. So I changed my end goal. I said, well, whatever. I guess I'll go back to college again. So I did. This time, like, what's my end goal? I want to help people like I did when I was in high school. I still want to help people. I want to be helpful to others, help them solve the problems, or at least guide them to a resolution that will help them. So I still wasn't good at math, or wasn't willing to become a doctor. Certainly couldn't really get into that. Another 8 years of schooling when I was like 27 or 25, 26, I don't remember. But I went back to school again, and I went into social work. I took social work, and I did that, graduated again, no jobs. I'm so serious when I say there were no jobs. There were jobs when I went in, over 2-year course, no jobs at the end. So I ended up working some shitty jobs again. I worked some various jobs, doing writing and like freelance writing. I worked in a call center again. I worked at, whatever I had to do to pay the bills, right? I was way down in the dumps, but you learn and you persevere. And over the course of the last several years, where I've been working on and off in the social work field, there aren't a lot of jobs. They're all temporary contracts for like a year, maybe 2 years, if you're very lucky. There's no benefits. There's, the pay's not 100% great. It's not terrible, but it's not great. But I've been persevering. I just, I got to pay my bills, so I find a way. Now, once I've discovered that TVSBOH is what I want to do for a living, with a combination of Twitch streaming full-time, and then with the addition of YouTube videos, like some music videos and some separate game videos and things like that, bringing over highlights from Twitch over to YouTube. Now I have a new end goal, and that is to do this full-time and be able to support myself. I don't want to get rich. I don't need to get rich from this. All I need is just to pay my bills and save a little bit for retirement. That's it. Just pay my bills now and have enough to save up for retirement. If I can do that, then I'm very, very happy. So, all along the way with TVSBOH, excuse me for a moment, I've got the hiccups. I'm just going to grab a drink of water. So, with TVSBOH has been a number of, appropriately, hiccups. Pardon me. This is an unedited podcast. Sometimes hiccups and heartburn and water drinking happen. And sniffing. I don't edit this stuff out because it take too much time to sit there and listen to the whole thing and edit it out. Plus, it's just sort of a very raw podcast. Anyway. So, speaking back to perseverance and TVSBOH, now that I've got caught up all the way to to TVSBOH. To bring it all around, I was talking about Higgins before, and we hit a lot of road bumps, a lot of roadblocks rather, a lot of speed bumps, a lot of, bad things happen. We had trolls dislike bombing our channel for a long time, and there was a number of people doing it, possibly even working together, and we really had to ride YouTube about it, really get on their case, because they weren't doing anything to protect us or help us because we were being cyberbullied essentially. For a while, someone was dislike bombing every one of our videos, plus sending us really hateful emails and comments through YouTube, and it was never a fun thing. Anyway, so we hit a number of roadblocks. What other specific examples can I give you there? Just going through a construction zone here, sort of paying attention, driving carefully. We had that troll that was really devastating. We almost quit. We talked about it, we were so frustrated with it that it was awful. But you know what? We just said, fuck it. We kept putting videos up. You know what? When we first started, we started out putting 2 videos, unique, not highlights usually, unique, standalone YouTube videos every single day. 2 per day. Higgins was responsible for one, and I was responsible for a video every single day while we worked full-time jobs. We were putting up 1 video every single day. We did that for months and months and months, until even when, at the time when Higgins left, we were still putting out 1 video every single day. So we cut that in half because it just became too much. We were getting burnt out. We didn't have the time or the energy to put out quality videos. They were still pretty quality videos, I'd have to say. They were up to our standards and everything. We just were getting burnt out. So we changed our end goal. We were getting burnt out. We're we wanted to have 2 videos every single day because most people only released 1 at the most. We wanted to do even more than other, even the top streamers were doing. We wanted to put out 2 videos a day. But it became too much. So we just persevered through things. We just said, okay, we're going to change our end goal to being 1 video per day every single day. At 7:30 p.m. Eastern, we're going to release a video every single day. We're going to do it. We'll make it work. And we'll be happy with that because we're still doing what we love. And people are still going to stick around and watch our videos. And they did. And we still loved it. Post Higgins, I've had to cut it down to 3 videos per week. Now, I'm not sure when you're going to be hearing this episode, but last week to me right now, as most of you know, I just wanted to thank you again for your support during my really hard time with family stuff there. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, go back on Twitter and have a look. But thanks again to everyone for their support over the last week and couple weeks while I've had to take time off. So I had to put TVSBOH on pause for a week. I ended up doing 1 live stream and releasing 1 video last week, even though everything was really rough. But I'm back to the regular schedule this week, hopefully. Should have 3 videos out this week. I don't really have a set time that I release them anymore because I can't. I'm too busy personally, managing TVSBOH by myself, plus working full-time, plus other family things going on. So I do release 3 videos per week, though. And I have, even since Higgins left, it's always been 3 videos per week, other than last week when I did have the family tragedy there. So, but yeah, I've kept up 3 per week, and I've been happy with that. Everyone else seems to be very happy with that, and they're happy with that pace. Plus, I'm back to the 3 live streams per week, and actually, not last week, but the week before, I actually did a 10-day live streaming stretch where I live streamed 10 days in a row, and I actually did 12 streams during that time, or more. I can't even remember, but yeah. So anyway, even when there's hard time, even though I was kind of sad that I wouldn't be able to put out 3 YouTube videos and do 3 live streams at least last week, you persevere. You have these road bumps, or the road bumps, speed bumps and roadblocks, and you just have to make a decision. Is this the end? Can I not meet my goal anymore, or can I still meet my goal? And I've decided, you know what? I'm going to just let people know what's going on. I'll try to put out a live stream and a video if I can, which I was able to, which I was happy about, and then go from there. So all the speed bumps, like Higgins left TVSBOH, I looked at my goal of doing it full time, and I said, you know what? I'm going to keep doing this because it's what I love. It's what I love to do. It's what I want to do, and I'm going to keep doing it by this, and this. These are my goals. They haven't changed, but how I'm going to get to those goals have changed. I'm going to have to work a little harder, a little longer in order to achieve it. I'm going to do it. So I did that. I've overcome a lot of roadblocks. That's perseverance. You just have to do it. If you make mistakes, you have to be humble, learn from them. As I've mentioned in other podcasts, that can be a big roadblock for some people, a big stumbling block. If you make a terrible mistake, like when I Twitter nuked everyone for like an hour, you have to go, well, I could either just shrivel up and hide, delete my accounts and just pretend like I don't exist. Or I can suck it up, apologize, be humble, learn from my mistake, never do it again, and continue to work toward my goal. And that's what I did, and that's what I continue to do. If I make a mistake, I learn the best I can and try not to do it again. So, again, if you persevere, you will meet your goals. You will. I firmly believe that I am going to be able to do Twitch full time and YouTube and all of those things on a full time basis to support and be able to support myself financially. And again, I'm not looking to get rich here. I'm just looking to do it as a job. That's all. I need to be able to pay my bills, save a little bit for the future because who knows what's going to happen. It could stop at any time. So save enough for, retirement because that's smart, but also for the future in case something goes wrong or Twitch ends or computers don't exist anymore or whatever, So just enough and also you have to save for taxes. That's something that people probably don't realize. When you go to do this full time and you're making money, you have to pay taxes on that money. If you have a Patreon account, if you take money in from PayPal, you're legally required, after you make a certain amount, I should mention that, you're allowed up to like so many $1,000 per year, at least in Canada. You're allowed a certain amount of money per year. Once you make over that, you have to start paying tax, CPP, which is Canada Pension Plan. You have to pay into that. It's something you have to pay into. CPP, tax, all sorts of different things you have to start paying into legally, or else when it comes to tax time, you're supposed to claim it. If you don't claim it at tax time and they find out about it, you're in a lot of shit. That's tax evasion. It's a very serious thing. People don't realize that if you're getting money from people, even if they're called donations, you still have to pay tax on them after a certain amount. So that's another thing I've just started keeping track of really well because I know I haven't made that much up to last year. So I just did my taxes, didn't claim anything because it was under the amount you have to claim. But this year, maybe we'll get over that. It's possible with our, right now we're sitting around $80, I believe, $80 on our Patreon. So, not quite $1,200 if that stays at that rate per year for the year, plus any PayPal donations, plus if we ever end up getting a sub button and any money from advertising on Twitch. So, anyway, why was I talking about that? Jesus. But you have to persevere. You have to, because I want to be able to save that money, right? You have to put enough money aside for your taxes as well. Anyway, so my end goal now is to do that full time, and I know that I'll be able to, and again, you have to have that belief and the perseverance, which means the ability to get up when you get knocked down. You know what? I'm even changing my lifestyle in a way, because right now I'm driving, as you know, an hour and a half to and from work every day. I've been applying to jobs which, as I said, aren't necessarily jobs I want to do. It's not in social work. It's actually, I'm looking at some telemarketer jobs, like calling people in their homes to ask them for money. Telemarketing. But it is for, something I'm happy about is it's for charity. It is for nonprofit organizations asking for money for charities. So I'll be able to do that with no problem because I work for charities. That's what I've done for the last several years. It's still helping people. It's not something I normally want to do. But there is this job is working from home that I'm interviewing for. I'm in like the third interview. I do that tomorrow morning, the third round interview. And it's looking really good. And if that happens, I'm going to be leaving the social services because I'm making a transition over to doing Twitch and this whole dream full time. I want to do it, and I will do it. I'll do whatever it takes. Like my roadblock right now is I don't have enough time to stream. I can only stream for like 7 hours a week. That's it. 3 hours on a Friday night, and it's late, so most people are sleeping, even in the UK and North America, because it's 11:30 p.m. Eastern time. That means people in Canada are sleeping, like in North America, and people in the EU are sleeping. And it's early morning for people in like the other time zones if you continue on the map. So it's a shitty time to stream at night then. There's also the weekend streams. I can only stream for 2 hours on Saturday and 2 hours on Sunday. Well, that's bullshit because that's not really enough time to be streaming. There really needs to be more streaming happening if I want to do it full time. If I want to get more followers, more viewers watching while I stream, which is now, I just got rejected a second time for a Twitch partnership, which I'm not upset about. Again, that's another roadblock. I could just go, well, fuck them. I applied twice. If they're not going to help me and give me the partnership, then I'm not going to fucking do it. I'm not like that. You know what I mean? I want this really badly. So I know they gave me some constructive criticism. Not criticism, but just some feedback. This time it was all about the fact that we needed more concurrent viewers watching on the stream. Last time it was about followers and viewers and some other things. All that we really have to do now is get more people watching while I stream. And that means I'm going to have to start streaming at different times than I have been, and I'm going to have to stream more, obviously. So if I get this other job, which I'm hoping tomorrow morning they offer it to me, I'm going to have to leave the social services. I'm going to have to take this transition job where I'm working like 5 hours a day. It's less money than I was making in the social services as well. But to be honest, I'm driving 3 hours a day. That's a lot of gas, and gas keeps going up in price. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. What I'm saying is I have an obstacle where my job is an obstacle toward my goal. And I'm lucky because my wife supports me in this. She really does. I've supported her in her dreams and her goals. She's supporting me in mine. I'm just a very lucky man, and I know that. But she supports me in this, and you know, it's going to be big. I'm going to disappoint the people at the social service agency I work for. They're not going to be, they may be upset, angry because I'm leaving, because right now I'm in the middle of a 2-year contract, and I'm not even a year into it. And that means it's going to be more work for them. I mean, I've already worked on this project I'm working on for, let's see, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. I've worked on it for about 8.5 months. So that means they're going to have to hire someone else to finish off the project. And that's going to be a big hassle for them to find somebody to finish it, to get that person caught up. I'm going to have to work there probably for another 2 weeks. I'm going to offer them 2 weeks notice. That's one of the stipulations of this other job I'm taking. I'm telling them, look, I really want this job badly, but I have to give my current job 2 weeks notice. I hope that's okay, and I think it's going to be. So I'm going to have to go through on a very uncomfortable 2 weeks at my job I'm at now, because they were really nice to hire me, and they've been nice to me, and they've sent me for training, and they've invested all this money in me. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to leave them because I need to pursue this other goal. Also, this other goal that I have of live streaming full time also helps out my wife in some of her goals, and I don't want to get into that because it's a little bit personal about what she does for a living and some of the things I'm going to be able to help her with. But the Twitch thing for a living is going to help both of us. So I'm willing to go through a 2-week possibly uncomfortable, possibly spiteful time working with these guys, possibly training my replacement, maybe if they get someone in time, that's going to be uncomfortable. I'm not looking forward to that. But again, I need to do what I need to do. And in this work environment, employers generally don't give a shit about you, and they'll they don't really give you too much at your workplace. This place has been pretty good to me, but anyway, it doesn't matter. That's beside the point. I've already made up my mind. That's what I'm going to do. There's nothing that those people could tell me at my current job to keep me there. Again, it is an hour and a half away, and that's a huge deciding point. If this job that I had now was right down the street from me, I would probably keep it. But anyway, regardless, I'm rambling again. I'm doing what I need to do to meet my end goals. Again, that for some people, if you didn't have perseverance, if I didn't have perseverance, I would give up on Twitch because I have a full-time job now. You know what I mean? This is my end goal. It's my dream. I actually see my life being better off in the future by live streaming full-time than I do with this full-time job in the social services, because of pay, because of future. At the end of the 2 years, there could be nothing there. And there probably will be no job there at the end for me. So if I can make my own way, if I can own my own business, then I'm in control. You know what I mean? I can branch off. If I live stream full time, I can branch off into making music for other people for money. I could do jingles. I could do voice acting. There's a lot of things that I have the potential to branch off into if I can get the full live streaming full time down. That's so exciting to me. I can almost cry. I'm so serious, guys. I'm 33 years old, okay? If you're younger than me and you're listening to this, you're lucky because you have that extra 10 years or however many years on your side younger than me that you are. You know what I mean? If that made any English sense. If you're 23, holy shit, good luck to you. You have a lot more opportunities than I have at 33. And as I get older, whoops, I just dropped the phone off my lap. Ooh la la. But as I get older, the opportunities are less and less because people want to hire new grads. They want to hire young people because they can pay you less. That's the reality. The older I have two post-secondary educations completed, I'm worth more. Like, I expect more money to do jobs that someone right out of school would not expect. So it's going to get harder and harder for me to find jobs. And again, the industry I'm in, the social services, the jobs are temporary. So I'm going to be up against people younger who can work for less money or who will work for less money. Anyway, I'm rambling. This is the Ramblecast. You know that. Anyway, I had the perseverance. I'm going to do this for a living. I hope that in whatever you're doing that you can persevere through all the things that come up that maybe stop you. It could be your own personal traits. It could be, I've seen this a lot lately where people are jealous or bitter or, they have all these negative qualities about them. And it affects everybody. But don't let yourself be a roadblock, too, to your goals. If you want to do live streaming for a living, don't badmouth other live streamers. Don't give up. Like, don't give up because of little things that are in your way. Like, keep going. Look for ways that you can do it. I know people that are doing a fantastic job, even though they're up against a lot of adversity. They're up against a lot of roadblocks in their life. They want to live stream for a living. They're working their ass off and they're doing well. Sometimes they get down on themselves, which is kind of shitty, or they get down on other people, which is really shitty. But they're maybe working a job they hate, but they keep going. they keep live streaming. They keep trying to have a nice positive stream. Again, I'm just using live streaming as an example, but anything in your life, don't give up if it's what you truly want. But also be realistic enough to know when your goal is unrealistic, right? I know that this Twitch thing, it seems unrealistic to most people you talk to. It's really hard to convince, like my parents are like, what? It's really hard to convince other people that this works because it's such a weird new thing that it doesn't make sense in the old economy. In the new economy, this is a thing where people can make a living. It really is. And I know that I have the skills and the abilities and the perseverance to make it work, and I'm going to make it work. That's the attitude you have to have. But you also have to be realistic. If there was no other way, if there was no other way for me to do this, I couldn't do it. That's just a given. That doesn't really make sense for a point. But what I'm saying is that if I wasn't willing to take on this, like a telemarketer job for less money, then, or if maybe my partner, my wife, maybe if she's like, there's no fucking way you're quitting your job to pursue live streaming, what a bunch of shit. Well then, I'd have a choice. Either I'd have to leave my wife, or I'd have to give up on this live streaming thing. That's the way life works. But I was just lucky to have a partner that supports me and agrees with me on this, or at least is taking a leap of faith that it'll work. But I have the perseverance to find ways to make it work. I found jobs that I could work from home. There's a lot of shitty jobs working from home that aren't really real, that are kind of a scam. This one is real. I know it is. I've looked into it. I've done the research to know that this is a real job. It's a real company. I'm not quitting my job without having a real opportunity to work. Anyway, have the perseverance in your life to meet your goals and your dreams, because you'll be really happy if you do. Have the perseverance to go over those roadblocks. Someone says, hey, you really suck at that. Don't go, yeah, maybe. All right, well, I won't do that anymore because that person said I suck. Forget them, Listen to what they're saying and realize, well, maybe I do suck. Here's what I can do to change that so that I can get to my end goal. Or maybe I don't care if I suck. I'm still going to do this. So I can't, maybe your thing is knitting. And they're like, you knitted the shittiest sweater, like the arms are in the wrong place and blah, blah, blah. If you enjoy knitting, who gives a shit? Keep knitting, keep going, whatever. If you do sports and people are like, you're the worst basketball player I've ever seen. Just give up, man. You suck ass. Why don't you go take up, I don't know, something else? Like, you want to do soccer, but you suck. Why don't you go take up, basketball because you really suck at soccer? But if you like soccer, then keep playing soccer. If your end goal is just to enjoy the game of soccer, then just brush those people off. Fucking who cares? I'm having fun. If you're having fun, just have fun. Play soccer, That's just what I wanted to get across during this podcast. Perseverance will get you really far in life, and especially if you're doing any sort of live streaming or YouTube or anything like that, you need that. You need that perseverance, because you're going to come up against a shitload of trolls, negative comments, even positive criticism you're going to come up against. You have to be humble enough to take that stuff and learn from it, or at least process it in a way that you're not totally bummed out forever. You have to be able to take other people's successes in stride. The best way to do that is to see what they're doing to be successful and just do what they're doing. It's that easy. If that person's doing something in soccer that makes them good, try to do that too. Whatever it is, persevere. Find out what's holding you back from your dreams, or, figure out the path. Sit down, honestly. Take a piece of paper. I'm an audio learner, but I'm also a visual planner. So if I have a goal and I just don't know how to get to it, or what am I doing wrong, or whatever, what I do is I sit down, I write the end goal on a piece of paper, whether it's usually at the top of a page or at the bottom of a page, and then I'll work backwards from there. What do I need to do? Okay, the top of the page, here's where I am now. The bottom of the page, this is where I want to be. What do I need to do to get there? That's it. I just I figure it out. It's okay, well, in order to have a live stream full time, I need to have enough time to live stream to build enough of an audience. What do I need to do that? Well, I need to find a job that allows me to live stream more. I need to find a job that allows me to work closer to home, so I have more live stream time. So more time to work on the administrative stuff of TVSBOH. I've got a ton of videos I need to make, not live streaming, just other things I need to do right now, but it's hard to find the time. So if I have this job anyway, that's what I mean. Oh, that guy's got roosters and chickens in their yard. That's crazy. Just running around, no fence. Weird. Right along a major highway. They're just right there beside the road. And it looked like they belonged to that guy. Weird. Anyway, random shiny thing. Oh, shiny. So, plan it out. Figure out what your obstacles are. And when they happen, when unexpected obstacles come up, take a deep breath. Figure out how you can beat them. And you can, But if something is a crippling obstacle, it's like, well, for me, a crippling obstacle would be if my wife was like, you're not, there's no fucking way that you're going to put, our bills in the hands of live streaming because it's kind of unpredictable. What if you get enough subs and enough advertising revenue and enough Patreon subscribers and enough YouTube income and maybe some side income from some other project, music and stuff like that? What if you do all that and then the next week everyone cancels because you call them all assholes or something? And because she could say that. What if my wife was like, no, you're not even going to go down that road because you can't put our future in the hands of that? That, to me, that would be the end. Honestly, if my wife didn't support me in what I was doing, then I wouldn't be doing it. To be honest, I couldn't do it because I love her too much, and I would not sacrifice our relationship for my dream of live streaming. I just wouldn't. I might be sad about it, but to be honest, I'd probably find a way to convince her. I've had to, at least prove to her that it's real, that is a future I'm pursuing, and that it is possible. Anyway, that might be a crippling thing. So you have to be humble enough to realize, well, shit, I'm going to have to change my goals. I could probably still live stream with the schedule I'm at right now. At least I'd have that. So anyway, that would be perseverance, because I'd say, well, fuck it, I'll just keep live streaming when I can, and if I get partnered, I do. If I don't, then whatever. I'm just going to keep live streaming until something happens. That's probably what I do. So that's perseverance for you. Hopefully you've got it. If not, if you don't have perseverance as a natural trait or a natural skill, build it, learn about it, read up on it, find out how you can persevere over your goals or your obstacles. Meet your goals. It's the most fulfilling thing in life. And that's I think the most I can share with you about perseverance. If you have any questions about how I persevere, anything additionally, put some comments in the comment section below here on YouTube. I'd be happy to address them. Or if you have a private one, a private obstacle that you can't get over or you're not sure, let me know. I'll see what I can do to help. Or ask anyone in the TVSBOH family. The Very Supreme Broadcast of Honor family is an amazing family. There's a lot of talented people. I ask other people in the family for help sometimes over how to get over obstacles. There's no shame in it. It helps you get toward your goals, and it's really great to do it within the TVSBOH family because we're such a strong family. So many talented people and knowledgeable people willing to help. So thanks to the TVSBOH family for that. So put some comments below the video if you have any comments at all about how I do this podcast or about the topic. Thanks very much for listening. You can find me here on YouTube. You can find me twitter.com/TVSBOH, facebook.com/TVSBOH. Of course, we live stream on TVSBOH. Haha, I wish. We live stream at twitch.tv/TVSBOH. Patreon.com/TVSBOH. If you're thinking about subscribing, you can subscribe for as little as $1 a month. We don't have a subscribe button on Twitch yet, which is $5 a month, but we do have a number of different levels of subscription on Twitch, on Patreon, on Patreon. So check it out, patreon.com/TVSBOH. There's some really cool, unique rewards there for as little as $1 a month, okay? Check that out if you would. Support TVSBOH, and I will support you with some cool rewards. Faux show. Faux show. Just getting on a major highway here. Sand off the podcast. Those are the places you can find me. Whoop, the phone's slipping around. Thanks very much for listening to this podcast. Hopefully there'll be more in the future. If you have any ideas for topics for the podcast, I'd love to hear them. Okay, so put them below in the comments. Email them to me at tvsboh@gmail.com. We'll talk to you guys soon. As always, thanks for listening. Burrito! Yeah! Ooh, Drivecast is over, and I was glad that you were here. If you ever need to pick me up, just send us a tweet or watch our videos or live stream or just sing this song. I like burritos, I like burritos, I like burritos, man. I like burritos, that's the end of the bar.